Hello, this is the Rocha Throshia, and I'm back again. I'm going to do another video on Off the Wall. And this one, I think, is going to be another Sunday special, mostly because I'm going to talk a little bit about what we learned in church yesterday. So, so yeah, what we went through and what we talked about was the proclamation to the family, or the pop. Anyway, we talked about the family and what the family is and how it works. And um, so there's few things going on in the family for me and for my crew here. So my oldest boy, he um, he was diagnosed with autism uh, pretty like I think when he was only like 3 years old or something like that. He's now 11 and going to be 12 soon. And he um, he's not extremely hurt or inhibited by his autism, but it does create some behavioral issues at school, and so we've been dealing with that, and we've been dealing with that for a while. Well, yesterday we learned about the family, or we talked about the family in church and the importance of the family. To us, it is really important, our family. In fact, it's probably the most important organization that you could possibly have here on Earth. And I believe it's a very important organization in the afterlife and in heaven in general. So I've always considered us as God's children, and I do believe that God has a wife as well. I don't think that he talks about her, and I think that that is because he is her protector, and he makes sure that that's what he does is protects his wife, and he does so by not letting us know about her and not letting us know her name or anything like that. I mean, really, what have we done with God's name? I'm I couldn't imagine allowing my wife to be treated that way, and I can see why God would not want his wife to be treated that way. So, so yeah, I think that. But anyway, we learned a little bit about the family, and then when we came home, we have started doing family meetings on Sundays after church as often as we possibly can. And that went pretty well. We talked a little bit. Everybody in the family shared a little bit of what they learned in church, and also what we talked a little bit about what we're doing as a family and what we want to work on, how we want to improve. These meetings are really good. I think that we're actually getting better and better at doing these meetings. Um, and what I wanted to do them for was so that we could become closer as a family and we could grow as a family. We could get together and know what we're doing. It used to be that the church would call these family home evening meetings, and it used to be that they designated Monday afternoons for these meetings and for the families to get together and do these things. However, they've changed the policies a little bit so that because they realize that each and every family is unique and individual, and they have to be able to find their time when they can. Um, and that's been the case with our family as well. Monday nights don't always work real well, and so we do it on Sunday after church if we can. And even that doesn't necessarily work all the greatest all the time, but often enough it works pretty well for us. But anyway, so we did our meeting. It went really well. We got to talk a little bit. Now, the youngest ones, they didn't really pay attention for the whole entire meeting, which is kind of understandable. I mean, at 5 years old, it's kind of hard to pay attention. So the twins were off running around, and of course Carter, he's too young, and also he is developmentally delayed as well, both physically and mentally. He's been delayed. So he's 3 years old, and he still hasn't, or he's almost 3 years old, and he still hasn't. He just still doesn't really speak any at all. Like he jabbers, he does baby jabber, but he doesn't actually uh, form words. So, and I believe that he is it's possibly autism with him causing his issues as well. But we still have to figure that out. We haven't tested. He hasn't been tested yet, so we are looking into getting him tested as soon as we can. Just because it would be nice to know so we know what we're dealing with. And that's one of the reasons I haven't posted videos recently is I've been doing a lot of research and it's just not ready for me to be able to post videos on what I've been researching. I've been researching both into autism and also into diabetes. So eventually I will be doing some videos about both of those. But right now I'm not real comfortable and real able to present those videos. Um, I guess this one, in a way, is a little bit on autism and some of the behavior issues that we have seen, um, both in Caden and Kendall, or not Kendall, both in Caden and Carter. Um, so with so after we got done with our family meeting, um, we had some lunch, and then I wanted to play a family game. I wanted to get the whole family together and play a game. Well, um, when you've organized something, I'm sure that you've been able to talk to people and get them all to come together, or at least you try to get them all together. Well, I really, really wanted to gather my family together and get them and have them be able to play, and I really wanted all of them to play. So we got this game that's called Between Two Cities, and it plays 7 people, which was perfect for us because that meant that we all could play, including the twins, the 5-year-old twins. And this is a fairly simple game to play, so we could actually get them involved in a game. So I finally convinced everybody to play. And it took a little bit. It took a little bit of coercion and a little bit of convincing to get everybody to the table. And by the time I got everybody to the table, I had already spent an awful lot of energy trying to get everybody to the table. Um, so for so we got everybody there. We were all play. We all started playing. I was trying to help the twins to figure out to get their stuff going. As young as they are, they don't know all of the details of how to play the game, but they know the basics of okay, well, I so what this is it's a city building game with tiles, and you look at the tiles, you decide which tiles you're going to put in the two cities, and you put them upside down or face down into the cities or to the cities. Then you flip over the tiles that everybody put into the cities and you match them up and align them. Well, the twins, all I needed them to do was select a tile and put it in each of the cities. That's all I was trying to get them to do. but it takes a fair bit to get them involved and get them to do what you want them to. Well, we started getting going, and we got a couple of rounds done, and then all of a sudden, Caden, um, my oldest boy, who's got autism, or who is autistic. I mean, I should start saying it that way because it's a much better way to say it. But anyway, who has autism? He um he wasn't all that excited about playing Between Two Cities. He wanted to play a different game, and he also and I also made a comment in the game that he may not have made the best of moves with a switch that he had made, and um, so all of a sudden he just kind of shut down. Um, with autism, you face that sometimes. They get, and with Caden, it's also partially his personality. So his personality is one where he can get depressed fairly easily, where he gets down on his own self quite easily. So I'm sure that my comment did not help at all, especially considering he wasn't really all that into playing this game anyway. And so he shut down. Um, and this was just the straw that broke my back, basically, because I kind of got upset with him, and I started getting after him. Well, because I started getting after him, that just made him not want to play the game at all. So he wanted to get up and leave. And for me, that was hard because I was like, I wanted to play so bad. I wanted to play with the whole family. And now that he was wanting to leave, that he was basically leaving the game, I had had enough. And I got after him a little bit more, kind of yelled at him, lectured him. And then in the end, we just ended up having to break up the game. Well, that made me feel bad. And so we went off to our own little corners. He went and climbed into his bed, and I came and was messing around on my computer. Well, after a little while, I realized that I needed to go talk to Caden and help him to come back and help him to understand where I was and why I got after him so much, as well as apologize to him for getting after him so much. So I went and I talked to him, and we had a really good talk. And I just kind of told him about how it was and how much energy I had used just to try and get everybody to the table, just to get everybody to play, and how draining that was for me. And see, autistic people understand that because that is how 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 it is for them every day in social experience in social areas. They are drained by talking to people, um, because when you go and talk to people as an autistic person, uh, there is a whole lot of nerves and a whole lot of nervousness because you're not good at social interaction. And most autistic people actually understand that they're not very good at it. And so they're really apprehensive with social experience, especially if it's um, if it's not well, other autistic people, it's a little bit easier to communicate with. And so if it's other autistic people or people that they know fairly well, then it's not near as hard. So, but for me, because this was something I wanted so much, was to play the game with everybody, it was even more draining on me. And I think Caden probably understood that really, really well, is that that was a real draining experience for me. And by the way, it looks like I could be, there's a strong likelihood that I'm on the spectrum for autism as well. Um, and I hate to call it on the spectrum, because the strong leftists has kind of ruined the spectrum term for me, by doing this whole gender spectrum thing, which I just absolutely disagree with 100%. There are two genders, only two genders. But that's besides the point. So anyway, um, in the end, it ended up being something that we had to go through and we had to figure out. And I don't know as if anybody else finds this all that interesting, but this was just a situation and a circumstance that I kind of wanted to talk about. And in part, that's what this channel is all about, is sharing our life experiences and kind of figuring things out. And hopefully being able to help people see what life is about and how life is a messy place. And that mess we kind of figure out, and we kind of fix what problems we can when we can, um, and hope that we don't cause too many problems along the way. But anyways, that's this episode of Off the Wall, and also a Sunday special. I know that this was a little bit more of a personal video, and but like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment down below. Yeah, I appreciate very much you guys sharing or watching my videos. So please do. Thank you for watching. And this is Throshia. Goodbye.